Towns in Italy can actually pay you to live in their houses, but there's a catch no one knows about. The latest housing craze has been about villages in Italy giving away houses for the price of a small coffee. Sounds like a dream come true, right? With just about $1, you could become a homeowner in one of the choicest locations in the world. You're probably thinking that there's something darker behind all this. Well, you're right. So what's the catch? What is Italy up to with this juicy but suspicious deal? Stick around to find out. The first time a couple from Southern California decided to road trip through the husband's ancestral homeland of Italy, their car broke down just about 3 hours outside of Pisa. While they were waiting for help, around 30 friendly locals swung by to check if the couple was okay, and one of them even scrapped his plans for the day to give them a lift all the way to Pisa Airport to help them secure a new rental car. This couple, coming from the United States, were seriously wowed by the warm vibes, and soon after their adventure, they started poking around to see how they could maybe move to Italy one day. Fast forward a few months, they teamed up with an Italian company to seriously explore buying one of those famous low-cost homes. To their surprise, they found out some of these houses go for as low as €1, which is about $1.25. So what's the catch here? Could this be a scam? Not at all. This is only the latest craze in Italy, where small towns are rolling out the welcome mat to newcomers with some sweet incentives. Presicce, nestled in Italy's Puglia region, is one of these towns. It's got a rich history, but has seen its population numbers drop. Other Italian towns, dealing with a similar population pinch and a bunch of empty properties, are doing the same. Take Santo Stefano di Cesiano, for instance, a charming village down south, which offered to fork out up to $52,500 to lure people over. And over on the beautiful island of Sicily, some towns are auctioning off homes starting at around $1. Even across the pond, places like the Swiss mountain village of Montiscaga are also giving away homes for just $1. Although, fair warning, those super cheap deals usually come with a side of major renovation work. Meanwhile, American cities are getting in on the action too, with perks like cash incentives, property tax breaks, and even free bikes to woo potential residents. Interested in Presicce's $31,000 deal? Here's the catch. All potential buyers have to commit to renovating an empty residential property in this 9,000-person village. The funding gets split in half, with some cash going towards buying the old place and the rest for sprucing it up if needed. To qualify for the money, buyers just need to purchase a property built before 1991 and move to Presicce. Sounds fun, doesn't it? There are plenty of empty homes in the historic center built before 1991 that the locals would love to see come back to life with new residents. It's sad for them to watch their old neighborhoods, full of history, beautiful architecture, and art, slowly empty out. Back in 2019, Presicce merged with the neighboring town of Acquarica to create a new commune, kind of like a county called Presicce Acquarica. This merger allowed the region to get more funding from the Italian government, which is being used to give the community a boost. According to the Italian listing site Immobiliare, homes in the Presicce Acquarica commune usually go for €669, or around $715 per square meter. So, a typically 46 square meter home would normally cost a bit over $33,000. People who've taken advantage of the cash incentives offered by various towns have shared their stories of finding the renovations challenging, but also finding pure happiness from their new homes. For instance, one homebuyer made the most of a program called Your House in Latronico, which helps buyers find old abandoned properties on the cheap in the southern Italian province of Potenza. He mentioned in September 2021 that he and his wife bought 3 homes in Latronica for less than $52,000 and have been loving the chance to fix them up. Over the past few years, a number of small towns in Italy have gained internet fame by selling houses for as little as €1. This trend keeps getting stronger, with even Hollywood stars getting in on the deal and extra incentives to attract prospective homeowners from all over the world. These towns selling those dollar homes are pretty small, and most of them are way out in the countryside. Plus, they've been dealing with people leaving for years. Back in 1968, there was a huge earthquake in Sicily that messed things up real bad. For some, it made more sense to grab that insurance money and set up shop somewhere else entirely. After that, it was like a mass exodus. Younger citizens all over Italy packed their bags and headed to the cities, trying to escape the lackluster job scene in their hometowns. In Sambuca, for example, the population had dropped by a whopping 30% since the 50s. Right now, there ain't a whole lot of work to be found, so construction gigs are pretty much all that's going. According to the Wall Street Journal, it's been especially tough in the last 15 years. And Sambuca is not the only one in this boat. Add up all these towns losing folks, and you're talking about over 1 million people who bailed on Italy's rural spots in the last 20 years to cozy up in the cities. A bunch of them jetted off to the UK, northern Italy, and other places around the world just to find some work. So now you've got these houses standing empty. What's left are these charming little towns with deserted homes, a bunch of older folks, and economies that are teetering on the brink of disaster. That's when they came up with this idea to get people back in the game. Almost anyone would be able to snag a home for just €1. In the mountain town of Molise, where they've lost 9,000 residents since 2014, the local officials sweetened the deal. They're willing to cough up nearly $800 a month for 3 years to anyone who moves there and starts a small business. It didn't take long for the news to spread worldwide, and it became a sensation. In certain parts of Sicily, you could actually score your very own home for just €1. Come on, who wouldn't click on that headline? Once the word got out, buyers from all over started making a beeline for these places. But snagging one of these dollar homes isn't as easy as it sounds. In fact, there are a bunch of catches. First off, you'll have to shell out some cash for contracts and taxes, and that can run you about $3,000. In places like Sambuca, they even auction off some of the homes, so they started at $1 but ended up going to the highest bidder. With over 100,000 people vying for just 16 houses, it got pretty competitive. Some people ended up paying as much as $1,100 for their new house. Believe it or not, only one home in Sambuca actually sold for $1. Most of them went for a few thousand, and the priciest one went for a whopping $28,000. And then there's that security deposit to think about. Some buyers snagged a house for €1,000, but still had to cough up a €5,000 deposit. The deposit amount varies from $2,300 to $5,600, depending on the town. You'll get it back if you start renovating within a year, and finish up within 3 years after getting the designs approved. It's their way of making sure buyers don't just take these properties and leave them empty again. They want people actually living in and using these houses. Given that most of these homes are in pretty rough shape, they often come with a requirement to spend at least $17,000 on renovations. These houses are really messed up, so you'll have your work cut out for you. Don't expect a palace if you're buying a €1 home. It's just not happening. So let's crunch the numbers on what a dollar home really costs. You've got the dollar listing, $400 in taxes, a $5,600 deposit, let's say $60,000 for renovations, plus the cost of flights back and forth for a few years. All in all, you're looking at around $76,001. If you were buying a house in a place like Belgium, you'd be looking at spending upwards of $1 million. Despite the catch, this program has been a hit so far. In Musumeli, they've sold more than 100 houses in the past year. In Sambuca, all 16 of those original Euro homes flew off the market in just a few months. Instead of buying your next coffee, you should look into buying a house in Italy. If you enjoyed this content, like and subscribe for more. Where money matters, we'll see you on the next one.